Read the do to yourself as I read it aloud. Do. Add and subtract fractions with different denominators. Then simplify. The following three fractions have equal value. Which fraction is the most simple? 12 and an eighth, 1 and 4/8, or 1 1/2? Pause the video now and circle the correct answer. If you chose 1 1/2, you are correct. Read fact number 1 as I read it aloud. Adding and subtracting fractions only works if you have the same denominators. Read fact number 2 to yourself as I read it aloud. Adding and subtracting fractions with different denominators is like trying to add apples and oranges. Pause the video now and fill in your own 2 examples of what adding fractions with different denominators is like. The only step we're adding today is the reducing part. When we get our final answer, we first need to check and see if it's improper. And if it is improper, we need to change it to mixed. And then we have to check the fraction part and see if we can reduce it. This problem is 2/3 minus 4/12. As you can see, I've already found the least common multiple, which is 12. I've also converted each fraction to 12ths by using the giant 1 method and making equivalent fractions. Notice that this is a subtraction problem. So I subtract 8/12 minus 4/12 is 4/12. I'm going to write 4/12 here as my first answer. Is it improper? Pause the video now and take a couple seconds to decide for yourself. The answer is no, it's not improper. If it's not improper, we can skip this step. Can you reduce? In order to figure out if you can reduce 4/12, you make 2 t-charts and find the greatest common factor. When I make my 2 t-charts and I write my multiples from 1 to 10, I find that 1 times 4 and 3 times 4 share a same factor. The greatest common factor is 4, since there's no number that's bigger than 4 that is the same in both t-charts. So it turns out that I can reduce. In order to reduce, I take my original answer and I divide by giant 1 with my greatest common factor. Four-twelfths is equal to 1/3. This is my simplest answer, and this is the only correct answer. You will only find 1/3 on any multiple choice answers. As you notice, the steps are exactly the same as they were yesterday. The only thing that I added was this bit at the bottom. It still has the least common multiple. It still has the giant 1 to translate the fractions into the same denominator. Add or subtract the numerator and keep the denominator the same. Simplify. Simplify means 2 things. Is it improper? If it is, divide and write it as a mixed number. Can you reduce it? If you can, find the greatest common factor with a t-chart. Then reduce using giant 1 and the greatest common factor.